Kevin could be a lot of fun as a student. He was in a group that, let's just say, kept the faculty either crying or laughing. There was no in between. He was a student leader, no doubt, and had a lot of fun. He had a great sense of humor.
Kevin went through school at an interesting time for Sacred Heart. We were often playing teams 2, 3, 4, 5 times our size. He was a competitive guy, and he was a leader for the teams that we put on the field in those years. Through his high school basketball career at Sacred Heart School, he started and played in every game for 4 consecutive years. He started as a freshman. He didn't miss a game, not for injury, not for illness, not for being ornery in class, none of that. Kevin was nothing if not dependable, and he was a very reliable guy. He scored just a little bit over 1,700 points in his high school career, and that was the career points leader for Sacred Heart High School for 27 years. Kevin was a fine player, kind of helped get things going in a very positive direction as far as Sacred Heart athletics.
I think it's really important for people to know, especially of the eras at Sacred Heart, who really kind of stood out. I think if we'd had a class 50, 75, or 100, Kevin would have stood out by far. I would have hated to have thought what our records would have been on soccer, cross country, basketball, baseball without him. Kevin Gerke was clearly the athlete of our class from day one, and I'm going back to kindergarten. He was not one-dimensional. He was multi-dimensional because he was also one of the smartest kids, if not at times the smartest kid in the class too.
I became friends with Kevin after we became rivals. When we played basketball against each other, junior high school through high school, Kevin asked me to play on summer show me state games basketball team, as well as many other kids from the K-Senior Conference. And from that point, we just became like brothers. We ended up going to college together. Well, he ended up becoming a coach. He was a guy that could organize. He could get people where he wanted them. And he was a born coach. He was a leader.
You know, it was pretty clear that Kevin was going to be a contributor in life because, for one thing, he had great parents. You know, his parents were good, quality, supportive people. You know, Kevin was a little bit ornery, like most high school kids are, but you could tell he had a really good heart.
My mother passed on January 2nd of his senior year, and the funeral was on a Saturday morning. We had an ice storm. The ice storm was so severe that we had a very sparse crowd for the funeral because of the weather. But Kevin was in. I think he felt that it was the right thing to do as a captain of the team, that the team needed to be represented. And he was there. And I've never forgotten him.
He had to be one of the most respected administrators at his school.
At Blue Valley Northwest, Kevin was an extremely successful athletic director. But there was a lot more to Kevin. I believe Kevin was the first athletic director in Blue Valley to bring unified sports to the district. Kevin had a special place in his heart for our students who had cognitive disabilities, any of our students who struggle. He really went out of his way to develop relationships with them and spend time in the classroom that they were located in on a regular basis. They all knew him and he wanted to be around him a lot. Sorry. Ooh. Kevin was very unique in the fact that not only did the students know who he was, but he knew every single one of their names. Kevin went above and beyond to bring unified sports to Blue Valley. It wasn't something that he was asked to do. It was something that he knew about and wanted our students to participate in, so they could have a similar experience to their typically developing peers. That was important to him.
When we went to Kevin's funeral to hear the people talk, he was really an advocate for kids, a real advocate for kids with disability in his buildings.
The testimonies those kids gave for Kevin speak volumes.
When I think about Kevin as an administrator and rising above the call of duty, he went above and beyond to make sure that the students that we had in special education felt like they had belonging and were a part of the experience. at Blue Valley Northwest, not only from the athletic piece of it, but from inclusivity in the building in general. Just their presence in the hallways, and just their who they were as individuals blossom more because of their ability to participate in unified sports.
But Mr. Gerke did have a story that he wanted me to tell, and that was about a student that Kevin had in Kansas City. And I, by chance, run into this student. He comes to our business in Stover. He lived in Kansas City, moves down to Stover, and I think he said he went to Belton High School, which is where Kevin was at one point. And he tells me that he was in a lot of trouble and that he was about to get kicked out of school if he did one more thing wrong. He was on probation. And he was about to do that. He was going to get in a fight that day. And he said he was just trouble and everything was on. He said at that point, his coach, he called him Coach Gerke. Coach Gerke come to him and was extremely hard on him. Told him if he did this, he was going to mess up his life for the rest of his life. And he said he just hated Coach Gerke for that. It made him so mad, you know. He said, I'd never forget that. But he said because of Coach Gerke, he did not get in that fight, and it changed his life. And I said, you don't know this, but I know Kevin Gerke. And he said, no, you don't. I said, yes, I do. And he just fell back. He could not believe it. Literally had tears in his eyes. And from that point, I knew the effect that Kevin had on other people because he had that ability to do that.
It's so exciting that Kevin is being honored in this way. I know he was honored this way, Blue Valley Northwest, and I love that he's being honored this way in his hometown and that he completely deserves it, not only for who he was as a person, but just for the impact he had on people. It spanned so far in so many ways.